Hey everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Geeks and Drinks. I'm Jason, that's Jordan. Let's see where the internet takes us, because it's going to go all over the place this episode. Things about Star Wars, things about Ultron, things about Secret Wars, things about new TV series, Nintendo, Universal, and a Hulk thing that we'll get to later on, but... yeah, okay, well, let's get to the usual thing first, the drinks that we're having. The beer of choice for this week is from the Pizza Port Brewing Company in Carlsbad, and they're calling this their Chronic Ale. It's an interesting amber. They apparently only serve it in the cans, but...
well, apparently that's the new way of doing beer. Like, it's cheaper, it's easier to, like, stop it from being damaged by light, it's easier to package.
True.
I guess just, it's... becoming the new bottle, I guess.
I think it honestly goes back and forth for the sole fact I have beer brewing friends who, one, they all have bottles because when you can buy them, two, they're reusable. You just need to, new caps on them. Cans, you really can't reseal them, at least not commercially.
Yeah, but on a commercial standpoint, like, I guess.
On a commercial standpoint, yeah, I can completely understand. It's not bad. It's very light. It's only 4.7%. It's I don't know. I would put it in the same level as, say, like a Corona if you just wanted to chill and drink a bunch of beers.
4.9.
4.9, my bad.
But it's also one of those things that actually has flavor. I'm not knocking the Corona. I love the Corona, but...
mm-hmm. Corona's for, like, if you only have a few bucks and you want to drink a couple.
Or if it's hot out and you have shit to do. We've discussed that.
Yeah, very true.
Every beer has their time and place.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck IPAs.
We also have we finally have a drink of the week, because this is Geeks and Drinks.
Oh, fuck. Does it mean we have to lift every bottle for that one asshole?
No.
We just say, yeah, it's
no. That's why I took pictures before we started.
Sweet.
Yes. We'll get to what the ingredients are later on, but this hefty, dark-looking thing, is called a Star Wars, which I guess that ties in for some of the things.
Death Star!
That's right. The other drink we were going to think of was called the Star Wars. My bad, people. It is the Death Star. But you drink it, though... it's... oh, God, there's that Jaeger. God, I'm in college all over again.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah. But we poured it, so we have to drink it. Rules.
It's that fancy Jack and Coke that tastes like high school.
Pretty much. But we'll get to the what the ingredients are later on in the show. But let's get to what the big thing happened over the weekend. Age of Ultron. What do you think about it?
Yeah, we've seen it twice.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's by no means great. It's a popcorn flick. Like, if you want to see some cool action,
yeah,
go fucking for it. Story-wise, it didn't really do anything.
No, I look at it as... you know how with the first Avengers movie...
I was going to say, it's the Iron Man 2 of Avengers. It didn't really do anything. It just kind of gave you a little bit more and tried to get you excited for the next thing.
More so that than anything else, for the sole fact that with the first Avengers movie, it was a lot of fun seeing the team together, but they gave little hints here and there about what's going to happen in Phase 2. They've already stated multiple times by Marvel that the Avengers movies are basically the launch pad for the next phase of movies. The thing is, though, with the first Avengers...
but one had a story.
One had a story. This one had several small little, not even story arcs, more along the lines of, this would be a cool thing, or this is something the fans have been clamoring for years, let's appease them, kind of thing.
Yeah, but the fans aren't always right. That's coming from a fan.
Yeah, this is very true. Now that being said, Ultron, loved him. I thought he was amazing. James Spader...
yes, you have James Spader as a psychopathic robot.
As opposed to all of his other roles where he's a psychopathic human.
Yeah.
So, same thing. The CG was amazing. They got all of his little visual quirks. Like, he likes to have his head tilted to the side every time he has a little odd
idea.
Exactly. It works very well. I have to say, Hawkeye had some of the best lines of this entire movie.
Yeah, I feel like they apologized for the first movie,
where he was a zombie for most of it.
He was nothing, and they even made fun of it. It's like, I've been mind controlled once.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say, going back to the visual effects, the little speaker things.
Oh, the cheekbones thing, yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
There's an article, I think it was on Wired, teamed up with, I think it was visualfx.com, I think it was, that they showcased more about that, and they said there was a really cool object behind the cheekbones that they wanted to show more often. ILM made this really cool thing. So if you really open wide, you could have used it as like a weapon. It's like this blaster or something like that. But unfortunately, they dialed it back so much that you only see that maybe in 1 or 2 scenes.
Weapons and the fuck?
You have. Here's the thing, though. People at ILM and people with any CG work, they will put an absolute crap ton of work into these things, and little doodads, maybe little Easter eggs or something like that, they hope will eventually get some screen time.
But I enjoyed it better when they weren't there and he looked more like Ultron in the comics.
To each their own, I will say that. Me being a CG nerd, I was like all the intricate pieces. I'm like,
you know what I mean?
that's
Like
cool.
someone like you who's seen that behind the scenes thing,
Right?
Like I feel like it's.
Well, for me, like a lot of people, like like Michael on the other show, we go see these things multiple times because the first time you enjoy it for what it is, and then the other times you're watching it again and again to tear apart all the little intricacies of everything because that's just what we are. So it's very odd. It's a very odd quirk. I understand.
No, it's one of those things. Me realizing I do the same thing, but yeah, I guess I'm that asshole. Whatever.
It is what it is. It is definitely a major jumping off point for what are we on phase 3 now? Because they were definitely pumping stuff for Black Panther.
I thought end of phase 2 is supposed to be Civil War.
Usually the Marvel things are usually like the end and beginning of each phase.
Are they?
Now the thing with Civil War though is that it's a major turning point for more than just the story, because
everything I'm reading on Civil War, it's Avengers 2.5.
Well, pretty much most of the people who were in Avengers Age of Ultron are showing up in Civil War. They announced the official cast list. Actually, all the new Avengers are in there, including Falcon and War Machine. Glad he's back to War Machine, no longer Iron Patriot.
Well, that was more or less a joke in the first one, because there was a whole...
That's true, the whole next time, man, kind of thing.
No.
Back when it was Terrence Howard?
He was War Machine, and they even made comment of him being War Machine. The Iron Patriot thing, that was more or less a joke, because I think that was something that happened in the comics.
Mm.
And they just kind of ran with it a bit longer than they probably should have.
Fair enough.
Kind of like in Captain America 1, where they go on that, 20-minute long tangent of Captain America, buy war bonds!
Oh, yes, that whole thing.
I'm gonna punch Hitler.
Yeah, 57 times or something like that.
Yeah, it's like us nerds who have read comics are like, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But even someone like me who's read comics, I was like, all right, that's...
Well, let me ask you this then, from one who's read the comics like myself. What are your thoughts on how they presented the Vision in the MCU? Yeah, I know.
God,
the drink is not that good, yeah.
I feel like I'm not girly enough. There's...
No, you're not the college mentality. You're not the bro
so we
mentality.
gotta go to college to get rid of it?
Pretty much. Jesus Christ. As he tries to chug it. No? Is he going to chug it? Oh, God, he actually chugged it. How do you feel? Feel like doing a keg stand now?
No.
As he pops the collar.
We're good. That hurt my heart, both physically and emotionally.
As we can tell you right now, the Death Star is not really a drink of choice, but we wanted a Star Wars themed drink.
If I was younger and didn't know any better, I'd probably say yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's way too sweet. It's not great.
If you were a woo girl or a dude bro?
A dude bro. Nah, bruh. It's not that bad.
Yeah, there's no way I can chug that. Hell no.
I can chug pretty fast, and that was hard. No, you were saying Vision, though.
Yes.
Vision I liked. I like the fact that when you see the Vision, even facial structure, it's Paul Bettany.
Yes.
Because, most of the promo art and everything they were leading up to that, it was very shadowy over the face. You couldn't really tell.
Exactly, yeah. You knew from the outline it was Vision, but they left the full revealed all the details until the actual movie, which I was very thankful for. There wasn't much in terms of the trailers. They gave too much away before they started doing the TV ads of it's out now, where they have to show everything because most people have already seen it. I enjoyed it. I thought he did a fantastic job with the role. I'm glad that he has a multi-picture deal now as Vision. So he's going to be around for a while, and I'm very, very, very thankful for that. But yeah, like going back, tying into Civil War, all the new Avengers are going to be in Civil War. Many of the, I can't really call retired Avengers, but more so the ones who are taking the back seat on everything will show up. I think Thor will show up. I'm not 100% sure on it. But
it makes sense if he didn't show up in Civil War.
True.
Technically.
But then again, they've already stated that this Civil War is going to be drastically different from what they have in the comics.
Oh, yeah.
So, which makes sense because...
I don't think we're going to see Clone Thor throwing a hammer through Giant Man's chest.
No, I don't think so. They're going to have to cut a lot of stuff to get it in that probably 2.5 hour time mark. But they did confirm a surprise actor, which I'm actually looking forward to see what he's going to do. Martin Freeman is going to be in this movie. They haven't stated what, though. My hope on it, my thought on it, is that he's going
Doctor Strange's sidekick?
You know it's going to have to happen sometime. You can never separate the two. You can't separate Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman.
Just have them make Sherlock jokes back and forth.
You know it's going to... And then throw RDJ in there somewhere as well. You know it's going to have to happen eventually.
Well, I told you, I want someone to make a joke and just say, no shit, Sherlock, and they both just kind of look at each other.
Something.
And that guy who does Elementary can have himself a good cry.
But my thought with Martin Freeman is that I'm hoping he's going to play some sort of tie-in in this movie to Black Panther, which will hopefully, if that's the case, he's definitely going to show up in more Marvel movies, which I am all for.
Well, they've already kind of, they have, how can I say, fuck it, spoiler-wise or otherwise, one of Black Panther's villains, Claw, is in Avengers 2. And you can kind of see the start of him becoming the Claw most of us know in comics.
Well, Ultron chopped off his fucking hand.
That's what I was trying to avoid.
Spoiler, don't care. They've had a week.
You get 3 months with a movie before you can openly talk about it. You get about a year for everything else.
I still don't give it that. I get shit from people sometimes if I missed out on the latest episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Flash if I haven't watched it within the first 24 hours. People are giving it a week. I'm being generous in terms of internet terms.
I mainly just don't care about spoilers. I feel like if you're going to get that butthurt about it, you should have seen it.
Fairly true, yeah. Spoilers never bother me. If I'm going to go see a movie and
especially when it's something like there's already an established history where shit's already pretty much going to happen.
Exactly. You kind of know what's going to happen. It's more about how it's going to happen. Yeah, that's pretty much all it boils down to, especially with movies like this.
But anyways, Claw, gets his hand chopped off and he fucks off. So now probably when we see him in Black Panther or if he shows up in fucking Civil War, we will see him with a mechanical arm.
Which now he's worth billions, which watch the movie, you understand more about that. But they've already started production on Civil War, so we'll probably see more set photos in the very near future. I do want to briefly jump over from Marvel over to DC. They actually released the first full pic of the Suicide Squad crew. And it's pretty mixed on the reviews on the internet.
I remember they said it was like a family photo. Who the fuck said that? The director or some shit?
The director called this would be a family. It's all about family, and I'm like, this is one fucked up family.
Not even that. I looked at it, it's like, that's a family photo? That looks like everyone was getting ready to take like their yearbook club photo.
Seriously. If
you know, watching... the cast of Breakfast Club went to Hot Topic nowadays.
Some of the character designs I'm actually okay with. But I know the one that the two that everybody's gonna be talking about. One is Will Smith's portrayal.
Nice save. His portrayal.
Yeah, let's call it that, because there are many people out there who will look at just the shot and go, "That's not Deadshot." They'll probably use the hashtag "Not My Deadshot" like they did with Joker. At the same time, you have to realize, obviously, movie version, comic version, completely separate identities. But the main one is Harley Quinn.
I'm okay with it.
when I recorded the show earlier this week with Michael for From Mother's Basement,
Did you lose your shit and go on a rant?
I kind of went on a rant. Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
I'm oddly enough okay with it. I think it'll be interesting because it's not. No one really knows Harley Quinn's origin story. Like most people, like recognize the character,
But they don't know.
but no one knows shit about her.
Exactly.
But I think they're gonna try to rely on. I don't know if they're gonna try to give her an origin story, or if they're just gonna throw you right in the middle of it all.
See, the problem is trying to give anyone an origin story with a cast this big. You would kind of have to give almost everyone an origin story, which will take over an hour and a half as is.
No, you don't.
You don't think so?
The only, I mean, granted, the only Suicide Squad books I read were the ones that you lent me.
The latest ones, yeah.
And
Which has been recently canceled.
But the only interesting characters was Harley Quinn.
True. Very true.
Deadshot to kind of a small degree.
But Deadshot in the comic was, let's face it, was dealing more so with...
He was the only humanized character.
He was. And he was the one that was directly dealing with Harley Quinn's batshit crazy side. The whole thing with the mask, or with the
dead
face of the mask, saying,
face?
"You're going to sit there, and you're tied up, I'm with the mask on you, and you're going to shut up." Okay,
You can't even really call it a mask. It was Joker's face meat. Like,
ripped off, yeah, on his face.
Oh, New 52, why'd you do me dirty?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I love The Flash so much. Like, it's the first thing in almost a decade that DC's done, and I just, like, I like this. It's not like I hate everything about this.
Which kind of ties in the whole fact with Flash, Arrow. They have a couple other series that are in the pipeline that we'll get to in just a moment. Maybe it's a good thing that DC is actually separating the TV universe from the movie universe. Because they seem to be doing right with the TV characters.
Kinda, sorta. I'm still not sure how I feel about Atom, Firestorm.
Yeah.
Or the fact that aren't they adding more people to the spinoff?
They are. Well, let's just jump into that. There's been a number of announcements this past week regarding cancellations, confirmations, and new season announcements for a number of comic-based TV shows. Let's start off with the bad news. NBC, after a long debate, they have officially canceled. They've passed on season 2 of Constantine. I was an absolute huge fan of season 1. This is one of those series that I watched the day it was out. There was very few series that are...
Well, no, because visually, he looked like Constantine.
Yes.
And fuck it. Daredevil's ruined me for TV shows now.
Understandably
because,
so.
Like, do you remember back in the day when people were like, no, this will never work on TV. They need to give it to, like, HBO to go do dark and gritty.
Right.
And I fucking hate that I just said that. But there are some stories that need to be dark. Like, that's kind of their shit.
And Daredevil's one of them.
Daredevil's one of them. Constantine is definitely one of them.
Now, could you imagine Constantine being picked up by Netflix for a second season?
Exactly. That's what I was
that'd be
saying.
so good.
Or,
yeah.
I mean, as we had talked about before, I mean, sci-fi. Sorry, I cringe when I think about when they changed the fucking spelling.
Oh, the SYFI thing. And now it's like, hey, look, it's supposed to be science fiction, and now they're showing wrestling. What the fuck? Okay.
Yeah, let's show a bunch of homoerotic men in short shorts. Anyhoozle. But no, the fact that god-awfully spelled channel is a part of a network that includes NBC.
Yes.
So, I mean, Constantine wasn't a very bright, flashy show with a bunch of visual effects. It
had its fair share, but...
No, I'm saying it had some. But it was the plus side of being a borderline horror TV show.
True.
Where being the fact that there's a lot of darkness, you don't have to go that hard into detail, and it still works.
Yes. And even with...
you could scale back their budget... And still have a good show.
Exactly.
As long as they get rid of that fucking artist bitch. Oh, I fucking hated her.
Yeah,
But if they, as you mentioned, if Sci-Fi could pick them up,
they can get away with a little bit more.
Because it's on regular cable.
Even on NBC, they got away with a lot of stuff. I mean, the character John Constantine smokes like a chimney. That's one of his flukes, I guess you can call it. And they went from scenes of him just finishing a cigarette to him just about to start to light up a smoke.
But something always interrupted it.
Yes, but to the end of the first season, there was even a scene that I laughed my ass off, that they're in a church, and he grabs one of the candles up on a pew and lights a cigarette on camera with it. I'm like, okay, that's
Constantine, though.
Exactly, that's Constantine in a nutshell right there.
The only good thing the movie did right was when they killed Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, very true.
Yeah, I can't let you forget the bad.
I know. The name's John's Constantine, bitch. Yeah, I was not.
Keanu, go back to doing shit action movies.
He is. John Wick 2 was officially announced.
Yeah, that made me laugh when people were like, John, have you seen John Wick 1? It's amazing. I'm like, yeah, because it's a cool action flick.
It's a quintessential popcorn action flick. You don't have to think about anything, and it has a...
Well, no, didn't you ever... There was a Cracked article or a video. I think it may have been one of the After Hours videos. I fucking love those. But they had talked about Keanu Reeves being like the perfect actor for action movies because he's the guy you could put your mind in there because he's basically a blank slate on camera anyways.
Very true.
Like, you could easily be like, oh my god, that could be me, because anyone could fucking do that because he has nothing.
It's like when you have all those harem anime and the main male character is always
I don't know what you're talking
slate.
about that far, I'm sorry.
Yes, you do. You've watched a number of those series.
I have not, actually. No, I can honestly tell you I have not.
Seriously?
Yeah. Like,
Out of all the shit that you and your buddies have forced you to watch, you have not watched a single harem anime.
No, they've made me watch, like, clips of shit. Like, dude, it's usually just, like, the intros.
Right.
And it's usually, like, weird upskirt panty shots and weird...
Fair enough,
twin tits. And it's like, oh, thanks, anime. God damn it, Japan. And we just kind of move on. Like, there was one involving lesbians.
That's normal.
But, like, these weird little teddy bears and, like, weird honey nonsense. I don't know what happened. I can ask Brian and I'll bring it up next week. Just to be like, that anime. I mean,
well, there was...
my buddy Brian is the most, like, sadistic fuck I know.
Seriously?
I will show you later, and obviously not on camera.
Right.
He sent me a text the other day that was just kind of like, oh yeah. Don't pull that out.
I'm going to pull up something right now.
God damn you.
Because
he's this... like, dude, do you know what truffle butter is? I'm like, well, yeah, it's pretentious foodstuffs. Like, why? And he goes, no, look it up on Urban Dictionary. No. Do it. I don't want to. He's like, dude, you need to, because it'll enrich your life. I'm like, no. I don't know. It's not going to. And then I looked it up, and I'm like, God damn it, Brian. And he's like,
okay.
He's like, this is awesome. And I told him, you know what's worse? I don't know what is worse. The fact that I know, one, you're going to bring this up more and more often than whatever needs to be said.
Yes.
Or B, the fact that I actually know what it is now.
And now that you know it, it's never going to leave your head.
Yeah, no, because he was like, yeah, you can thank the raps for that. Because when we talk, we basically talk like old men. Like, get that over with. Let's pull this Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I know. This is something that I have...
You fucking own it on Blu-ray.
Yes, I do, because this is a series... when it first came out... Oh, God, it must have been 6 months ago. It was something that was absolutely so bad, it was entertaining. It's a harem anime. It's called Nakaimo. The subtitle is My Little Sister is Among Them. This is a harem anime that is so bad it is entertaining as fuck. This is something that I'm gonna make you watch. I'm gonna make you watch at least 2 episodes of it.
Why?
Because I need to share the pain.
What did I ever do to you?
You agreed to do this show.
Fair enough. I'm just gonna stop there.
Yeah, that's all you need for that one. Go ahead and enjoy that if you can. You'll have to be heavily imbibed by some sort of substance in order to appreciate it for the first 2 episodes.
Well, no, if I have to watch that, you realize I'm gonna make my buddy Brian watch it.
I'll come over and watch it. I'll bring over some beer.
Oh, that is scary to know.
It's so bad it's good, but that's massive tangent. Let's jump back.
Yeah, getting back in terms of TV, this is actually awesome. ABC renews Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter.
I'm happy about the Agent Carter part.
I didn't watch much of it, but the bits I did watch, I really enjoyed. S.H.I.E.L.D., I told you, I watched all of season 1 on Netflix, because when I watched the show when it was airing, the first 4 episodes, I just stopped watching, because everything has changed since New York. New York. Do you know what happened in New York?
I know.
Everything has changed since New York. Do you remember New York?
Yeah.
And I had to stop. But eventually, when season 1 got to Netflix, I powered through that.
You got through the horrible parts, yes.
And it actually turned into a decent show.
Yes.
And from what I've heard, season 2 continues with that, and it's very, very much better.
On a massive scale, better than season 1.
Okay, so on that same token, I'm very excited to see the newly announced season 3. And Agent Carter, the same way I watched a few episodes, I was very entertained.
Yep.
It was weird, though, because it didn't play like anything Marvel's ever done before. Because it kind of plays like an extended one-shot. Because I don't think they expected it to last longer than one season.
Well, no, in a recent interview with Joss Whedon, he basically stated that for a while when he was between movies, they let him be, and he was like, should I do something? And he's like, yeah, go do something. Oh, okay, instead of a movie, I made a TV show. Oh, that sounds great. Later on, why did you make a TV show? Now we have to try to find a way to make it tie into everything in the movies. Ah, shit, this is getting hard. Kind of thing. Although Josh's brother is doing, I think it was Jeb, I think his name is, doing a great job with it. Josh is still executive producer. Now that he's no longer tied in with any of the MCU stuff, or he maybe could focus on maybe S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, he is labeled as an executive producer, so he does see the scripts at least.
And at the very least, he has all that free time now that he quit Twitter.
Now that he quit Twitter, and some people were on the internet were raging, claiming that it was due to militant feminists forced him off Twitter.
No, a lot of it he rage quitted because of feminist, and I read an article about that as well. That it's like some leader of some feminist group came to his aid, and it's like, no, fuck off, Joss is one of us, and kind of defended him.
Plus, Joss has been dealing with feminists since he got actually before he was on Twitter. Look at all of his other projects, all his TV shows, his movies, Buffy, for God's sake.
Yeah, he's always been a huge fan or supporter of the strong, empowered female character, which is surprising, which is weird, because the more and more I think about that, it's like, wow, you really did drop the ball in Avengers 2.
I was going to say, bringing that back to Avengers 2, the whole
Black Widow bit,
Black Widow/Banner bit,
God,
that
was
was forced as all hell. It did not need to happen. It didn't do anything but to, I guess more spoilers here for Avengers 2.
Prove that every girl needs a man?
No, the fact that they needed to find a new exit strategy for Hulk. Because everything that they were talking about in terms of the comics transferring to the movies, they would have had to, if they followed the comics, launch Banner/Hulk into space, thus launching the World War Hulk series. But because Universal owns the movie rights to Hulk, they can't do that right now, so they had to find out another way for Hulk to disappear for a time being until Avengers 3. And having this whole are they, aren't they story in Avengers 2 and having him run away at the end, I guess that's all it was?
Look,
I mean, given the fact that she was so distant against all the other characters, especially look at Winter Soldier. She was so anti all guys in Winter Soldier.
But she was oddly flirty with Cap, and that's why there was that joke in Avengers. But
she was almost more like camaraderie-like, because there was a whole scene in Winter Soldier after they pushed the senator off the roof, and she was like, what about that accountant chick, that, like Ashley or something like that? Yeah, she would be a great fit for you, kind of thing. Almost just like buddy-buddy.
Well, that happens throughout the entire movie.
True. Very true.
Why didn't you ask that one chick out? I'm sure she would have said yes. That's why I didn't ask.
Yeah.
God, I just... first off, I love the character Black Widow. You know me, I have a weakness for gingers. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know.
The fact that they have no soul, therefore you can just scoot right in there?
Maybe.
No,
but it's... Black Widow went from being, dark and mysterious to super interesting to actually having a past and being exciting again. And, presumably leading up to something good. And then just... out of left field. She's in love with the Hulk now. Did you know this?
Yeah, that was... Given the fact with some of the recent interviews with Joss Whedon, and he's talking about how the Marvel executives were basically fighting him in a lot of aspects of Avengers 2, it turned into Joss versus decision by committee, which almost never works well. So, trying to wash that
Yeah,
mad taste
a
out
little
of your
bit.
mouth.
I'm just gonna have a Jack and Coke now.
Well, we'll get to the ingredients for that in just a moment. Let's talk about the other two things real quick.
Tastes
in
like
the
I'm at a
TV world.
club and I'm wanting to yell, "This is our song!" But back to...
I'm a Sagittarius.
I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm probably telling you too much. I'm actually an Aquarius. Oh my god. My mom's one of those people, like, she's like, well, according to your sign, you're actually this... Mom, no. Mom, you should know better. I know you're a smart woman.
Astrology, the Chinese, was it calendar or whatever they want to call it with the different characters, the ox and the dragon and the dog and shit, yeah.
But back to TV shows,
Yes.
and it's one of the things I'm very excited about.
Yes.
Obviously, The Flash and Arrow got renewed, which, again,
One, that's a no duh, because both are fantastic films.
Well, no, I told you, and I blame this show and you specifically for the fact that I actually started to watch Arrow, because I gave Arrow another shot, and it was actually really good. And I told you, and I don't know if I mentioned it on here, about 2 weeks ago, Flash ratings-wise passed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes, they
And
never
that
expected
surprised
that.
me. No one saw that coming.
Yeah.
But the more exciting one about all this is the Brave and the Bold series. That's what it basically is, right? Can we agree on that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, the Brave and the Bold series, apparently now being called Legends of Tomorrow, got picked up.
Yes.
So we get to see Superman try to redeem himself and be another DC hero.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, if it worked for Captain America, it's got to work for Superman, right?
It has to do something, yeah. So with this one, the latest spin-off from Arrow and the Flash, this one is going to star Brandon Ruth as, from Arrow and Superman Returns as, what was it, Adam he was doing?
Yeah, he's the Adam. He's the actual, like, the real Adam. I'm trying to remember his actual name, though, and I can't do it.
Some of the other characters, Wentworth Miller, I've actually liked him in Prison Break. Dominic Purcell, who was also in The Flash and Prison Break. Ciara Renee from Pippin. Frank Drama from Agents of Tomorrow. And then you have Victor Garber from The Flash and Alias. And then Arthur Devil.
Rory!
Yay! Rory's in a U.S. TV show.
Let's hope he does better than...
Let's hope there's no redheads around him.
Well,
because that seemed to be his downfall, let's be honest.
No. Like, Arthur Devil, like, he hasn't really done much. He was in the American version. Well, it was Broadchurch. Like, he was in Broadchurch, and he was good in that. He was the pastor.
Right.
And then, obviously, Doctor Who. And he's a good actor. I mean, I enjoyed him in Doctor Who, so it's kind of cool.
Right.
Victor Garber, to some extent, I can't really take that serious. You can ask Jessica about my history in high school doing a school musical and how much Music Man I watched.
76 trombones lead the big parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, kidding me, I have a friend who I just found out his last name's Sousa. So every time I see him, like, John Philip Sousa.
Is Sousa on his phone?
No. He's part of the group called The Idiots.
Ah, yes, The Idiots.
Like, he's in my phone as, like, The Idiot. Like, his last name's not even on there. Like, with the exception of, like, two of them, like, they're in my phone as first name and then The Idiot. But the spin-off show, I'm very curious to see how it's going to go. I do worry that they're probably going to go too fast and play catch-up.
As they are with the movies.
Yeah, but they're going to go the TV, like, they're going to do, like, the B Squad. Because, to be honest, the movies, they're all doing, like, the A Squad characters.
Right.
And I think that's why The Flash worked, because The Flash was one of the originals.
Technically one of the originals with the A characters,
yeah,
yes.
But the reason I was kind of hesitant to say A character, just because he's not that well known, because he's changed his... who's been The Flash has changed so much.
So many times, yeah.
You know, Batman has always been Bruce Wayne. Superman's always been Clark Kent.
Yep.
Wonder Woman's always been Diana Prince. Aquaman has always been Prince Arthur Curry. Well, he's been Arthur, and then it was Arthur Curry, and then they kept changing shit around. But the Flash, he's been... There's the Golden Age Flash, where he basically looked like Artemis and with jeans and a fucking metal helmet.
Ah, yes.
And then in the Silver Age, we got Barry Allen. And then in the Bronze Age, we got Wally West. And then we got all the new versions that came after that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when the Flash is one of those people, it's like, the Flash, which one? I don't know. The red suit, white thing. I'm like, okay, was he cracking wise? Was he Wally West? Or was he more serious? Was he Barry Allen?
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. I mean, unfortunately, with Green Lantern, the other one of the original members, you can
change so many damn times.
Not even
though.
that. You could pull the race card.
Oh, easily.
Which one? The black one? Jon Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Which one? The white one? Which one? The one with the bowl cut? No. The one with like the weird Rocky thing on his face and like the black comb over, kind of an emo-y little bitch. Yeah, that one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And even he had a Golden Age character, Alan Scott.
Yep.
Jay Garrick, that was the Golden Age Flash.
Okay.
But no, we do have this, and it's a lot of catch-up, which makes me wonder if they're going to bring all these other characters into play.
Most likely, yes. On a side note, it wasn't in the notes real quick, but CBS picked up the rights and asked for a full season for a Supergirl TV series. So
I know that they were filming that, and Reed mentioned that it may or may not get picked up. But that'll be cool, maybe.
Yes.
I mean, Superman on TV has done okay. Unfortunately, not like his movie counterparts.
Yeah. I will say though, the big news, the ultra big news that you and I are actually huge fans about. It's not even really comics related, but it was just amazing. A brand new Muppet Show was officially picked up. They got the green light. This version of the Muppets are going to take a more adult version. But
the Muppets have always been adult, though. Like, in my mind, the Muppets were like, the Muppets kind of were the first ones to, like, walk that tightrope of still being, like, cool and not really cool. I guess that's kind of a douchey way of saying it, or a cop-out, but entertaining to children as much as adults.
Kind of like more recently with Animaniacs. Muppet Show was there first. Animaniacs took that to the next level.
I was going to go even, for the younger, the newer babies in life. I was actually going to say Shrek.
Yes, yeah, there was a lot of that.
In that same vein, like that is the Muppets. It's easily appealing to all generations and all audiences.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I still remember the original Muppet Show episode where they had Mark Hamill on, and Miss Piggy was literally throwing herself at Mark Hamill so many damn times.
She's such a whore.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, she is a pig, so you know. But yes, we've talked about briefly about what the pilot episode was going to be, which is more of like a mockumentary style, like The Office or Parks and Rec, which I'm all for. I don't even have to say, could you imagine? Because we're going to see it.
I was worried you were going to change. Like, yeah, they're changing that after the first episode. I don't know much about the show other than what we discussed. I think that was back on when I guest hosted on For My Mother's Basement. I think it was like the first or second episode. Muppets.
I'll put it this way.
I love that the first star that they mention is going to be on it is Ken Jeong.
Yeah. No, that's a different thing. ABC ordered a new comedy called Dr. Ken, which stars Ken Jeong as a physician with no bedside manner.
Which he actually is.
Which is funny, because he went from a physician to a comedian, and now he's a comedian playing a physician on a TV show.
He paid for medical school by being a comedian.
Yes.
So he was a comedian, then an actual physician. Fucking out, basically we live now in fucking Riverside, or Irvine. And then realizing he wanted to make jokes instead.
I do like the fact that one of the
he changed
co-writers
the game.
Well, you know, one of the not comedians, the co-writers and executive producers of the new Muppet Show is actually Bob Cushell. You might not know his name, but he was one of the executive producers back on Third Rock from the Sun.
That's also
I'm a huge fan of that series. I love that. The other co-writer / executive producer, Bill Prady, is currently working on Big Bang Theory. Less than enthused about that one.
No, that'll be good. I mean, they'll probably get back to doing nerd. And like, let's be honest, you kind of need the stupid humor in things.
Yes.
I mean, you know, my dad, like, he needs a laugh track. Like, he needs, like, Big Bang Theory things. So
well, the whole thing is like something happened on Reddit or something happened within the nerd community that's absolutely hilarious. It takes about, 4 to 6 months for that to actually show up on Big Bang Theory. And then the rest of the general community is like, oh, that happened. And where the rest of us were like, yeah, a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
But then again, it can't be as fast as, say, At Midnight, where they're on every night, and their writers are on Reddit, they're on Imgur, they're on...
Because that's the whole premise of the show, though.
Exactly. They pick up stuff that was trending that day and posted it on the show that night.
Ooh. Yeah.
But I did want to make a mention real quick, if you guys have not picked it up yet. Earlier this week, the Marvel side of the major universe changed up, because I know DC has their side with Convergence. That's going on right now. But with Marvel...
Look what I told you. It's a great time to be a nerd.
It is a fantastic time
literally
to be a nerd.
Both sides of the spectrum are basically trying to show off who has the bigger dick.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Chris Hemsworth in the new trailer.
Mm-hmm. I will say, though, with everything that I've read online so far, Marvel, once again, is kicking ass.
Yeah.
Issue 1 of Secret Wars is now available to pick up. It's the first of an 8-part series. There's also the other spin-off series that deal with the death of a couple different character lines, which, let's face it, in Marvel, death is never really, or in comics for that matter, death is never really a finite thing.
Damn you, Superman.
Yeah. So, highly recommend you guys check picking this one up. I picked it up. You can pick it up for about $5. There's about, I want to say, 9 or 10 different variant covers out there already.
Basically, it's the big story of the year from Marvel side. Mm-hmm. I mean, as much as I hate to harp on or make fun of my own nerd culture, every year there's some big event that basically is going to change everything. There's some big thing that's going to kill off a character or two.
Or 30.
And then... But again, Superman killed death in comics. Like, they will be back.
Yeah, they will be back. It's one of those that they wanted to end the current run, which is funny because they just rebooted everything with the New 52 just a year ago. Mm-hmm. So they'll be back in different series.
Well, dude, Marvel had their fun with the Ultimate series, and look what happened to that. That died out. The only one that stayed was Spider-Man.
Yep.
And the only reason why that moved on was because they changed Spider-Man.
Yeah, literally. They kept the body, but they changed all the mind.
No, that was different. That was Superior.
You're right. My bad.
Ultimate was Brian Morales.
Yes, you are right. My bad.
Was it Brian Morales?
I think it was, yes.
So I don't know.
Something like that.
Half black, half Mexican, yay, Spider-Man.
Let's jump over to Star Wars real quick, which ties into all the drinks and when we're talking about the snacks that we have. So, with... it was announced fairly recently that the director that was attached to the second Star Wars Anthology film, which is what they're calling all the spin-off films now, decided to leave for a number of reasons.
Oh yeah, wasn't that the guy who did Fantastic Four and it turned out he was a dick?
Josh Trank is the filmmaker. I can't remember what he did before. I can find out real quick.
Yeah, I think that was the guy he did the new Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And then it turned out he was an asshole to work with and no one liked him, and they're just kind of like, oh, fuck.
Yeah. So they pulled him out of this second one. Now, because of doing so, we're starting to get a little more information about it, and it is rumored right now. A couple websites have, confirmed sources, as they like to always say, that this second anthology project was actually an origin story for Boba Fett. For me, it was inevitable that they were going to do an episode.
Do you see the excitement in this face?
Were you not ever a fan of Boba Fett? No, really.
Boba Fett was basically the Rocketeer with a gun.
But hey, I like the Rocketeer, though. I know, your respect for me just went down tenfold.
You assumed I had respect for you.
Okay, good point.
No, Boba Fett, in theory, he was cool, and it kind of made sense. But, granted, I probably have friends who are probably going to hate me for this just because I don't think you're my buddy Jeffrey Joyce.
Not yet, I don't think so.
Oh my god, no one knows more about Star Wars than that guy.
Okay.
He is the Stephen Colbert, with Lord of the Rings, but with Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
You could be that weird guy, he's like, oh yeah, dude, it always cracked me up as a kid when that little rat thing in Jabba's palace, when he went off, you mean Salacious Crumb? His name was Salacious Crumb. He was from this planet.
Oh,
he had all these little adventures, and he could sit there and list shit off with fucking precision. You're just like, how and why?
How do you know all this?
But he's a full functioning member of society too, which is weird. Kind of.
That is a weird combination.
Well, he's a unicorn of people.
Okay.
He should not exist, but he does, and I'm very thankful for it. But, he's one of those people, and we've had discussions about this. Like, he appreciates and likes Boba Fett, and I'm like, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, what do you mean? Like, but in, like, Tales of the Bounty Hunter, like, fucking Dengar helped him out of the fucking Sarlacc pit, and he climbed his way out, and then he, you know, it aged him drastically, but he still got out, and he fucking raised hell, and he's fucking a badass. I'm like, that's neat.
Yeah.
The last I checked, a blind guy ran into him as some kind of weird Three Stooges skit, and then he fucking fell in.
Boba Fett, where? Bow!
And he fucking fell into the Sarlacc pit.
Mm-hmm.
Not even the remastered one where there was like tentacles and shit flying out in some hentai person's wet dream.
Oh yeah, the one where
he literally just kind of and then just fell in.
Exactly.
And to my eyes, I'm like, oh. And if you think about it, even in Empire, he didn't really do anything.
No, he's almost like his closest relatable character, I would say, is Darth Maul. Someone who got a hell of a lot of hype and had very little screen presence.
No, Darth Maul.
You think that he?
No, I would not compare that, because Darth Maul, when Episode 1 was about to come out, how many times did you see that image of Darth Maul just holding out the lightsaber going?
Yeah, okay, but
how did that like just rustle your jimmies in like the best way possible?
Yeah, okay, fine. I was talking.
And then when you saw him doing flips and shit, and the fact that he made Liam Neeson, the most recent badass of badasses, look like a bitch, and he murdered Liam Neeson.
I can't argue with that.
And he gave Ewan McGregor a run for his money. A man who we eventually knew would take on Darth Vader.
For me, it was why I compared the two was because on screen, in terms of dialogue, they didn't have much here and there. Now, granted, Darth Maul did
dark
have
and mysterious,
a absolute amazing, phenomenal, action sequence at the end of Episode 1.
And a half-assed one halfway through.
Boba's never really had that.
No.
I mean, Boba kind of went out like a bitch against Sam Jackson, so...
That was Jango. That was his dad.
Oh, you're right. That was Jango Fett, yes.
Dude, that's 2 times I've made you look like a bitch on this episode.
God damn. It must be this stupid drink.
Oh, you're almost at 3 strikes.
I'm just going to show... Just talk while I drink, then.
But no, like, it basically is supposed to be about Boba Fett, and would have been the first time we in a screen presence, and those who aren't super nerdy get to actually see the man that nerds apparently love way too much for some reason. I would love to see it. I mean, I've played a few of the video games, I've seen things, and but Boba Fett, he's always, at least in nerd culture, portrayed as like this god amongst men. He's the Jack Bauer of the nerd community.
Essentially, yeah.
And it's sad because those who have not, read these 30 other fucking books that's part of the extended universe, which has been fucking retconned.
Yes.
So good luck.
Ever since Disney took a chainsaw to the extended universe.
Because they had to.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas didn't give a shit. Lucas just wanted to make money.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I want to make this book about this character and this character in this scenario. Are you going to pay me? Yeah, go for it.
Dude, highest reviewed critically Star Wars movie was Empire Strikes Back.
Yes.
That was the one movie that had little to nothing, like Lucas had little to no control over that.
Right.
Directed by Evan Kirshner. Most of the actors were like, we'll take it from here.
Yep.
And that was the best movie that they had done.
Still, to date.
Yeah, like I think it has like a fucking 80 or 90 something on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's on Rotten Tomatoes, yeah.
That's why I'm thankful Star Wars is like, hey, like a kid that's taking their Tonka truck and just like running it into like a brick wall, and like the parent has to come along and just kind of like, no,
don't do that. Play it like this.
No, play nice.
Yes.
Like I truly feel like that's what Star Wars was doing, or Disney was doing, taking it away from Lucas, going no. Which again, we didn't mention it earlier here, but Disney now that they're in charge of LucasArts, they announced officially, yeah, we're starting Indy 5.
Yep.
Indiana Jones 5 is going to be a thing now.
We don't have a script yet, but
they don't. Yeah, they have jack shit.
Exactly.
But it's one of those things, we're getting Indy, and it's not going to have Shia LaBeouf.
Yay!
And you and I on the same page. We're Chris Pratt.
Harrison Ford is still the fucking man.
But... Oh, he's still Indy. Oh yeah.
But if you need to pass the torch along, you pass it to Chris Pratt.
Yeah. No, and I think I even told you my favorite was growing up. Like I idolized Indiana Jones and basically Harrison Ford.
Yes.
Like Indy, yeah, and definitely Han Solo. Like I had a Han Solo doll. It was a fucking doll, like if the little small plastic action figure, but it was basically like Barbie size.
You had a doll.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. But like my sisters, they would like they knew Harrison Ford was the man at that point.
Right.
They're like, Ken, you look like a bitch. They threw him aside, and they would constantly try to steal my Han Solo, and be like, yeah, Barbie and Han go off and do their thing. And it definitely didn't help that my grandfather was kind of like, oh yeah, the girls have their Barbies. Jordan, G.I. Joes. And he had like the G.I. Joe dolls, not like the little 80s toys.
Right.
And the worst part about it is because my sisters, and I've told you about Barbie, can accessorize like a motherfucker.
Yep.
I immediately stole like all random little garments and articles of clothing from his G.I. Joes, turned Han Solo into Indiana Jones. So I had like my little indie doll. And like I'll never forget, because the fedora didn't exist, my grandfather, like he bought some weird mold, and he fucking made me like a little fedora for it. Like that's how crafty that man was.
Damn.
That guy was the shit, I tell you. But even then, every now and again, it's like, dude, where's Han? Like, where's... And my sister's like, I don't know. Shh, no. It's our secret.
Don't worry, Han always shoots first.
Even before the internet, he was the one going first. But yeah, like, and I dressed up like Han Solo one year for Halloween, and it fucking, or not Han Solo, as Indiana Jones. And it fucking pissed me off because my family didn't have a whole lot of money, so we made do with what we had.
Right.
So like I had like the weird like my mom's like old like brown jacket, like a white button down, khakis, and my mom's like old purse, but it had like the leather strap, but then there was like a little gold chain before attaching to the bag.
Right.
And it didn't help the fact that I had like the little toy gun and the whip, but at school they're like, you can't have toy weapons. The whip is basically a lasso. Like I can't even do anything. I'm just gonna leave it like walled up there.
Yeah.
You can't have it. That's still technically a weapon.
Oh, jeez.
And I was like, I just look, and it didn't help that like okay. One of the greatest parts about Indiana Jones or Han Solo in general, he just rocks that. I'm getting very homoerotic here, and I apologize. But he just has that just dreamy, just amazing 5 o'clock shadow, like at all goddamn
the permanent
times.
5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like he called that shit 20 years before it actually happened.
Yes.
And I wanted that. Greatest lie my parents ever told me. When you're older and you hit puberty, you can have facial hair. Bullshit. But like my dad burnt a cork and like just smeared ash on my face, so there was just like a dark layer, so it kind of looked like it.
Nice.
And at the end, I just looked like a well-dressed hobo. Like because I like all the accoutrement that would kind of like that's Indiana Jones, the things that are synonymous with that man. I just got fucked.
Well, at least now you have a story about this. That's all I'll say about that.
I drank so it doesn't hurt so bad.
Explains so much about you, my friend.
I know, right? I'll let you pick the next thing we're talking about. That was a
Jesus
tangent.
Christ, that was one hell of a tangent. I will say on the side note that if you had those problems with the, well, it's a weapon, you can't bring it to school. When I was in 5th grade, the school I was at didn't have much money, so they always had to share scissors for all the construction projects we had to do.
Oh, at least you had that. We had like the janky like metal ones from like the 50s.
So they didn't even have much of those. So I remember I was at home and I came across one of my parents had a Swiss Army knife that actually had a scissor in it.
Yeah, some of them have like the little tiny
And
ones.
I went, I'm going to bring that to school because I want to do my own projects and whatnot. And my teacher saw me with it one day and reported me to the principal's office because I brought a weapon to school. In 5th grade, I was suspended for a week for that. And my parents was like, wait, really? I mean, I was in trouble for that week, but I lived a block away from school. It didn't fucking matter to me. I was just chilling at home doing stuff.
Let's see. I got suspended for a week for being in possession of a stolen nacho cheese machine.
We'll get to that. That's
another story.
Yeah.
Let's get back.
That's a story that will take a long time.
Speaking of Star Wars, stay on target.
Let's talk about
Stay
why
on
we
target.
have... Yes, we need to stay on target with all of this. We have Star Wars news, so therefore we have a Star Wars drink, and thankfully, Star Wars snacks. So, let's talk about the drink first that we've basically completed. It's called the Death Star.
It's like medicine, though. We like suffered through it.
It was. The ingredients...
It was the Dragon Ball evolution of beverages. We just did it just because we felt like we had to.
Oh, so true. So true. It was either this... I kind of wish I went for the Qui-Gon gin and juice, which was basically a gin and tonic with some melon liqueur.
Well, dude, if I had the money, I would have bought the other things. The Darth Vader is actually decent.
Is it actually decent?
Yeah, it's a Long Island, but with Jaeger. but all the other booze basically cancels it out.
Huh, okay. Yeah, because the rest of the drinks here did not cancel out that Jaeger. My God. So, the parts to this is 1 part Jagermeister. Oh, God. If you're in college, sure, you're probably thinking, oh, I already have that.
Woo! This is my song. We're gonna, like, live forever.
Oh, I'm glad that's over with. All right, so it's 1 part Jagermeister, 1 part whiskey, preferably Jack Daniels, apparently. 1 part triple sec, 2 parts Coca-Cola, 1 part vodka. I decided if we're gonna have vodka, might as well have some good stuff, so I bought some Belvedere, and 2 parts sweet and sour mix.
You also bought, like, weird hipster sweet and sour?
It was the cheapest thing on the menu.
Really? Because, dude, you can see, like, there's, like, sediment right there. Like, that is...
Yeah.
You bought some unfiltered shit.
I really did. But then again, if I splurged on the vodka, I have to go cheap on everything else.
There's always next week, maybe.
There is always next week. I gotta find out another
Hopefully
drink for
I'll
us.
get paid by then.
We'll find out something. So the way to make this, you just pour all the ingredients into a highball glass. Make sure that glass is filled with ice cubes. Stir and serve. Nothing really too drastic about it. I can guarantee you this is one you're probably not going to want to try unless you're in college.
Actually, I'm going to tell you right now, the thing says pour all ingredients into a highball glass.
Uh-huh.
It's not going to work for a highball.
It's not?
No, the fact that you're also supposed to, filled with ice cubes, stir briefly and serve the fill with ice cubes,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have way too much liquid.
Gotcha.
Like, think about it. This right here, the glasses we're using,
Yep.
is probably a little more than, I want to say this is probably about a 20-ounce glass.
I'd say about that, yeah.
If you mound with ice, like it says, fill with ice and then pour everything off, you're better off using a pint glass.
Fair enough. That way you can load on more of like the Coke or...
Well, no, because first off, when you add the ice, everything's going to melt from adding booze that should be room temperature. Like it's,
right.
But it's one of those things, like it's... I call shenanigans on the website that gave you this.
Yeah, well, it's a Star Wars drink. We had it. We're never going to have it again. But we have ingredients now to try other stuff in the future.
Yeah.
To tie it all with all the Star Wars stuff as well, Jess decided that she had an event earlier on this week, and she decided she wanted to go Star Wars themed on her snacks.
She made snacks.
Made snacks for us as well. So she decided to make 2 different kinds of snacks. One, she actually made the Star Wars molds.
Okay, I have to point that out. Like, Jason showed me this, like, 2 days ago before filming. Or a few days ago. Show that up to the camera again. Dude, even in candy form, how gay does C-3PO still look? Like, there is no improving that. And I mean gay in both sense. Both in the homosexual sense and in the lame duck sense. Like, he does not look great.
Very true. So we have these chocolates, which basically she purchased a Jello mold of Star Wars characters, whether it be for Vader, C-3PO, Yoda, R2-D2.
Chewie still looks stoic as shit.
Chewie's always awesome. And then you can actually purchase, like, chocolate, pre-molded chips, if you were, in either, like, white chocolate or milk chocolate or whatnot. Yeah. You can melt them, you throw them in the microwave for a quick moment, and then you can pour them into the molds and throw them in the freezer for, like, 5-10 minutes. And bam, you have chocolate molds in awesome Star Wars characters.
It's one of those easy things people don't realize about cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You can always get like just chocolate chips, double boiler.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can just throw it in a glass bowl, throw it in the microwave for like a minute, pull it out, do a quick stir, throw it in another minute, you're good to go. Actually, depending on the strength, you can even do like 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
But literally, it will get down to like a quick, almost like syrup. But because it's used to being in a hard candy fashion, pour or use it as quickly as possible, and then it will harden.
Yep. The other thing that she decided to make for us was lightsabers. And these ones are fairly simple. You basically want to make a...
White man's Pocky.
Yeah, pretty much, actually. Go ahead and use the same type of chocolate, the melted chocolate. You can use the multicolored ones, or you can add food coloring, which I don't know how well that'll work, because you're considering... Unless you're using white chocolate, it's not going to really show that well. So use the melted
it's like an NBA player
chips
with tattoos. They can try all they want. No one's going to see that shit.
Oh, yeah. Just dipped about 3/4 of the way through with it. You can use some of the black chocolate, and you can actually create some designs for the hilt and of the lightsaber itself. You can use random candies to decorate the hilt as well if you want to have the actuator button or any other design you want. We went very simple on these ones, but
yeah,
honestly,
it's a candy. There's no need to go that in depth.
Exactly, unless you're doing some sort of competition for TV or whatnot, there's no need to. This took for all this together,
wars, motherfucker. There's not that much need for detail.
For all this, literally took less than an hour to make, and it's worked so well. Pretzel. So very simple. We will post links to both how to make the drink and the snacks on the YouTube website, and eventually once we have the website itself, we'll post all of that there as well. Moving away from Star Wars, let's talk about a couple other things real quick. Let's talk about Superman.
Yes, let's talk about Superman. This is awesome.
Go for it. You know about this, more of this than I do.
Well, because here's the cool thing. One of my favorite jokes is, what's the one thing Superman can't do? Anything he hasn't tried yet. Superman is one of the most overpowered heroes. Like, much to the point where he's not interesting anymore. Like, he has no weaknesses. Now, in the new series that's going on, they gave him a new power recently, where, much like Dragon Ball Z, he can scream for a few minutes and emit this giant radius blast thing.
No, the spirit ball, spirit blast, yeah.
Yeah. Now, where this gets interesting now, issue number 40, because he's allowed to do this now, they've now added a whole thing where Superman can't fly anymore.
Oh, God.
Superman has lost his ability to fly, and what's cool is, instead of flight, they've gone back to the old school way of Superman doing things.
Yep.
Where he doesn't fly, he just jumps really high. And that's how he kind of bombs around now. Which, on one hand, that's cool. It's getting back to the way he used to be.
Yep.
Before they decided, it's like, wait, this hero has this cool power? Can Superman do that? He can now. Boom. It's cool to see this hero that fucking could do everything, and they're getting him back to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, almost like you are, for the longest time, you were a god. No matter what you wanted to do, you had it done. You could take care of it. Now they're kind of down in the back by saying, yes, you have your superpowers, super hearing, super speed, all this stuff, whatever. Let's take back your flight. Let's make you not as much a god as you have been before. And honestly, I think that makes him a little more of a better character, because now he has flaws. Now he has
limitations.
Yeah. Instead of having like you said, the only superpower that he hasn't had is the one that he hasn't tried yet.
Yeah. What's one thing he can't do? Anything he hasn't tried yet.
Yeah, exactly. Now that he has limitations that are actually known not only to him but by everyone else around him, now you have to see him try to cope with that.
By the way, I have to admit, it made me laugh. I recently thought about it. After the whole Batman vs. Superman trailer, Dawn of Justice, let's see if you bleed. I immediately started laughing. I'm like, do you want to make that kind of a point of interest? Because let's be honest, he bled in one of the original Superman movies.
Yes, he did.
I think it was like the second or fourth one. And if I'm not mistaken, I think
it was the second one, I think.
But I know he bled in Superman Returns.
Yes.
Because literally a scene where you see him get prison shanked by Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Which that looked very homoerotic, because you don't see anything. You see Lex Luthor. Didn't see that coming,
you see Superman going...
And then he just backs away slowly. I'm like, did you just put it in his butt?
Surprise! But no.
The best kind of a prize is a surprise. Especially surprise sodomy.
Alright, jump over to X-Men real quick, because we jump all over the place. When Days of Future Past came out, there was always this thing in the back of your mind, because you heard from all the interviews that there was all these scenes...
Well, see, that's why we live in a dangerous age. Like, we know way too much.
Yeah. Before the movie came out, we knew there was an entire sub-story featuring Rogue that was completely cut out of the theatrical version. Well, Bryan Singer, the director of that movie, announced that what they're calling the Rogue cut of X-Men Days of Future Past is coming out. It'll be available on Blu-ray, and it includes additional 17 minutes of footage, which brings back the included storyline of Anna Paquin's Rogue, on her side quest.
So again, I know this is nerd ramblings, but I'm excited for this.
I'm excited for this as well.
And I get that. Like, I understand. Like, most people don't understand nerd culture when we get excited for, like, dude, did you see the new cut of Blade Runner? They added a whole 7 seconds. They say it changes the whole cut of the film. Like, I get how douchey we sound for saying shit like this.
But it's what nerds do.
But this was something we were told was going to be in it, and we all got super, like, we got excited for it.
Yep.
And then it just kind of never happened. Like, I'm not the hugest fan of Anna Paquin, but her run as Rogue in the X-Men movies prior to, well, the original trilogy, like, her existence, that was kind of a big deal.
Yes, it was.
I mean, for the most part, it was her and Wolverine just buddy copping it up.
And now it's her and Iceman, and...
Well, no, that was the whole, like, father figure thing. Like, that's why I think it was even in the second one, where,
like the hey, you running again kind of thing?
They ran into each other, and, like... It's funny now that he's gay. But Iceman was trying to look for approval, like, in Wolverine. Like, he's like, so, like...
Yep.
Is this okay? Like, trying to show that bit of respect.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things, like, we always saw that, and unfortunately with any of the X-Men movies, the only way you can make them interesting is by adding Wolverine heavily.
Or trying to retcon the entire franchise so far.
Well, no, I mean, let's be honest, like, in Days of Future Past, in the comics, it's not Wolverine that goes back. Wolverine's one of the ones that dies.
Exactly.
But the only way you can make movies interesting with the X-Men is by adding Wolverine. I mean, even in the first one, First Class,
yes,
they threw him in there. Did he need to be in there?
That one scene. Hello, we'd like to talk to you. Fuck off. Yeah.
Did he need to be in there? No. But, okay, I've told you my love of midnight movies.
Yes.
I don't give a fuck if they keep doing those weird 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock showings. Like, special screenings. No. You go, you have a drink or two, you discuss all your nerdy shit for like an hour or two, much like you and I would, but with way more people. And then you go see the movie at midnight. Like, because that's when you're surrounded by the most amount of nerds. And it's seeing a movie surrounded by people who care about it, it changes the entire experience of the film.
I agree. It's a complete drastic experience from seeing in a regular theater with just
screaming
average
kids,
Joes.
The average person who doesn't get what's going on.
Yeah, I'm here because my kids wanted to see it. Oh, this must be a family movie? Dear God, no.
Yeah, you don't have to feel bad when you see Wolverine come on the screen and then tell Charles Xavier and fucking Magneto to fuck off.
Yep.
You know, in deep... Again, I've made the joke. You basically turn into, like, the 16-year-old Japanese girl going...
Kind of, yeah.
You can scream and cheer because there's about 30 other people doing that behind you.
Yep.
Or around you.
Exactly.
And it's amazing.
It really is. It's one of those things that you can only experience on an opening night of a nerd movie like this.
Yeah.
If you waited till, like, the week later, if you were too busy one night, you've missed that ideal moment, that prime moment to go see it. Because then you're
that
around...
eye of the needle moment where things just
because if you watch it a week later, you're seeing it people who have basically either A, have seen it already a few times before because they want to come back and watch it again. Or B, you get the people who, like, I wanted to avoid the massive crowds. I enjoy the movies. I wouldn't call myself a fan, but I still wanted to see it without all the hubbub. Then at that point, you're just like, then I feel bad for even trying to laugh out loud at a couple of the great scenes. I don't know. It's just one of those things that, yes, we may consider us, ultra nerdy or ultra geeky about that, but honestly, I'm perfectly fine with that.
No, because I've talked to people who aren't nerdy. Like, I have friends who aren't that nerdy.
Okay.
But when I invite them and they come out and they witness midnight movies, they're like, that was really, really fun. I know. Why else do you think I'd do them?
Yeah, exactly. You actually dressed up, too, and dyed your hair as much as you can.
Yeah, I did the best, unfortunately, with my darkish hair. Trying to bleach it in one day, I just looked ginger.
A very dark ginger at that. But it still looked good. You had your, what would you call that? The one
I had the meanest moose knuckle ever.
I wasn't going to say it.
No, that was not impressive.
Yeah.
I was actually wondering if you were going to bring up that photo, because I know you're like, we need a photo for this. I'm like, all right, I've had a few.
Yeah.
So I don't think you saw the bartender when I asked him for a shot of Jameson, what he gave me.
No, what did he give you?
It was basically a triple.
Oh, wow. They were generous.
He's like, it's the end of the bottle. And I had this one little shot. I walked up to some of the other guys there. I'm like, does that look like more than a shot to you? They're like, God! I'm like, ha! I'm going to Crazy Town.
There you go. There. Good times. I did want to bring up a couple more Marvel things before we wrap things up. Jordan, if you do me a favor and grab that cardboard box over there.
Yes, my sister mentioned this.
Yes. So there are a number of subscription boxes you can apply to nowadays. Things like Loot Crate, which was Loot Crate, I should say, which was designed for the typical geek out there, had a bunch of standard stuff. It was very hit and miss for the first few months, to the point that a lot of people decided, you know what, it's not really worth it for it. There's other ones out there that you can get Japanese snacks. You know, you pay like $10-15 a month, you can get a little box that has random snacks from Japan. They have book club versions of this. They have auto fans, NFL fans. They have versions of this for almost anybody.
Hey, like, I just look at it this way, man. We're getting on the hype train. We're going to do an unboxing video.
Yes, we are.
One of the most boring bullshit things you will see on the internet.
But
we're there.
Yes. We're going to hit all those things. But what we're talking about is the Marvel Collector Core. They got into this. This is the first of their series. They're doing things a little bit different from everything else. First up, it is about $25 for a box. That seems a little high, but it can be justifiable because it's not month to month. It's actually...
Oh, it's just a one-time thing?
No. It's every other month.
For how long?
For as long as you want.
That's what I'm saying. $25. What does that get you, though?
$50 of value. And absolutely everything you have in here, unlike other collector's boxes, everything in here is an absolute exclusive collector's item.
Like, I get that, but you said $50 value for only $25. Is it $25 a box?
$25 a box every other month. It's not an every month thing.
Yeah, okay, but you said $25. Is that like, okay, you're gonna get a box for this month, and this month, or is like $25 get you this box?
$25
get you the next box.
Yes.
Okay, that's not bad. Cause see, at that point, for like the nerd who you know probably already has everything, I bought you one fucking box.
Yeah.
This is all exclusive shit you're not gonna get anyways.
Exactly. Of course, being with the first boxes tied in with Avengers of Age of Ultron, you had a bunch of actually very cool things.
Oh, so you've already opened this?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
I'll get the little stuff at the front out of the way first. So for this first one that you can buy, you come with a little collector core pin from Avengers. It has the old school Captain America right there. We have also a Marvel Collector Core patch for all of you fans who like to attach those to your denim jackets. Yeah, this is the thing that was like, okay, that's worth it already right there.
The Hulkbuster pop.
Yes.
By the way, look at those sweet derp eyes. That has to be my favorite thing on this.
Yes. I did like that. There's a couple others in here. This is from
Chibi Ultron?
It is a Chibi Ultron vinyl figure.
That's what it is.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, come on. It's Ultron in chibi form. You have issue 1, the official collector's variant edition of the Guardians team up version of Avengers, and that actually works very well if you've actually seen Ages of Ultron. And then the shirt. You had one of 4 designs.
I can't see the camera, so hopefully.
This is actually amazing. It is Captain America versus Age of Ultron. Versus Ultron. Yeah, sorry. As like a classic boxing.
Dude, that's 3!
Alright, I failed completely.
Suck it. But no, the shirt does look rad.
It has been a long night. I cannot...
It's only beginning.
I know, it's only beginning. But yes, you can get all of this for about $25. You can go on to collectorcore.com, sign up for it yourself. You get one every other month. And like I said, the main difference between this one and other
besides the price?
boxes, aside from the price, is everything in here they claim is 100% exclusive. You're not going to really find this anywhere else, which is quite nice, to be completely honest. Like I said earlier, the Loot Crate stuff was cool. Unfortunately, it was either stuff that...
I feel like it just creates a lot of clutter.
Oh, yeah, the Loot Crate stuff was a lot of clutter. There was a lot of stuff there that we said, okay, that's kind of cool, but then we were done with it after like 30 seconds.
Why does he look like the Joker?
Oh,
with the big red smile,
with the big red smile, the little eyes, yeah.
Oh, I feel like he's trying to ask me why so serious. Like the time my girlfriend forgot to wash off her makeup and took a shower. Dude, that was hilarious. She didn't appreciate my joke at first, but then she got it.
No? Aw.
No, because she came out of the shower with, like, the dark circles on her eyes and just, like, the lipstick just kind of smeared around the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, I forgot to take my makeup off. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Are you trying to warn me about how you want to kill the Batman?
If you guys want to get in on this and you haven't picked up the Avengers one, the next box is in June for Ant-Man. Is going to be the theme for that box, and then they haven't announced what's coming out for August or October.
Oh, so they at least give you the courtesy of letting you know what's
coming up. So
okay.
If you wanted to jump into it, you can.
Well, yeah, like that's the one problem I have with Loot Crate and things of that nature.
You really don't know what you're getting
you
until
don't know
you
what
get
you're
it.
getting into until like after it's already come out, and it's like, you just missed the Walking Dead one. Don't you wish you had Loot Crate? Well, yeah, because I have someone that loves Walking Dead. Like, if I had known, I probably would have bought in that box.
Right, exactly.
Like, I don't know what's in the box. Obviously, that's kind of the point. But, like, it to at least give, like, the theme away.
Uh-huh.
I feel like that's kind of... Yeah, I'm done fucking with this.
Just put it to the side, yeah.
But at least knowing the overall theme, that'll help.
Yes. So, like I said, the first one was Age of Ultron. The second one coming out in June is going to be based around Ant-Man. So, with all of that said, there's one final Marvel thing that we need to share.
Which is?
I kind of wish we knew about this before Age of Ultron.
I would have bought this for one of my friends. Yeah, this.
Not for this price, though.
Wait, how much is it?
I'll get to that in a second. So, Flux Design Costumes decided to come out with, and I guess apparently it's official, or if not, it still looks fairly impressive, a Hulk muscle suit.
Like camel toe.
It is. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, mine was better.
You had to mention it. Yes, this is a full body muscle suit that gives you that hulking physique. Does not include the associated super strength, though. Angle controlled issues are sold separately.
That's called a bottle of booze.
Now, the suit does come in a range of colors, so you can have Gray Hulk, you can have Red Hulk, you can go through all of this. All the muscles on the chest, arms, and legs, and of course,
show the butt.
There you go, that Hulk ass.
Oh, dude, that's like my ass, like non-existent.
So maybe you need something like this, just for everyday use. No,
not that bad.
Not that bad. Okay, so. They also have a bunch of other superhero themed muscle outfits you can purchase, including one for Deadpool. Tempting, maybe.
Deadpool's small and physically fit.
Yes.
What?
Yes, you're looking at the price now. For all of this
$3,500?
Yeah, for all this hulking goodness. $3,499, not including tax.
They can go
shipping.
Fuck themselves for that.
But don't you want to be movie accurate and have all the great physique?
That's not even movie accurate.
No, it is not.
Because I even remember when I told you when I saw the Incredible Hulk with Norton.
Mm-hmm.
Like the muscle definition on like the shoulders, like was just way too much, and it just unjustifiably way too ripped.
Yeah. So my question is, I'm wondering if anybody's actually going to purchase something like this.
Someone will. There's always gonna be that one asshole with way too much money.
Even if there's like only 5 people who or I would say even like one person who's actually purchased this company's already made their money back on it, on all the R&D and made the mold for it.
R&D.
Research and development.
No, I know what R&D. Fuck you. I know what R&D stands for. I'm more or less talking to the fact that it's like you basically you found like the perfect physique, or basically it's over muscular, then you painted it green. But because you're selling it as the Hulk,
you could sell for outrageous price. You know, if you slim down the legs a bit and it comes in blue, which it does, you could be the Tick. Yeah.
No.
Now you need the helmet and just say spoon.
No, because I feel like anyone who appreciates the Tick, which is why I did this. God, I wish there was a photo. I bought a blue morph suit.
Oh, really?
I cut a hole around the mouth, a hole around the eyes, bought those weird alien antennae, also painted blue, then Sharpied on some abs.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
those abs were in 3D because this lovely gut I've got going on protrudes. But I feel like that's the way to do it.
All right, fair enough.
Because it's one of those things that, yeah, I'm sure other people would appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the small things. Like, okay, WonderCon. I don't know about you. I mean, we discussed it at that time, but now that you've had time to think about it, what was your favorite costume we saw at WonderCon?
Aside from Powder Toast Man?
Exactly.
Yeah. Powder Toast Man was hilarious.
The weird amount of love that you see in that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
That is always going to be your favorite.
Mm-hmm. So much fun with that one. That was great. I mean, yes, you have your standard cardboard cosplays we saw for the Ninja Turtles.
The day one cosplay.
We saw the gender bent ones.
Yeah.
We saw the ultra slutty ones, for lack of a better phrase. You have the diehards who spend too much time, money, and effort to get something as close to movie accurate or whatever accurate they wanted to use as a base for it.
And there's some that are legitly good, like the ones that was Muriel from Courage the Cowardly Dog and Eustace.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
That was fantastic.
Like they were hanging out eating a corn dog in like some weird food court, and like she just had like the little stuffed Courage the Cowardly Dog just petting him. Like,
I was happy to have the old guy come around and have the mask going, ooga booga booga.
I wish, but no. But I mean, like out of everything we saw that day, it was awesome.
Yes.
But
yeah, Powder Toast Man was still my favorite from WonderCon.
But do you see what I mean, though?
Yes.
Like, you don't need to spend $500.
Yeah. That's the, Mommy, Daddy, I want to be like this. Okay, can I just give you money and be done with it? Okay.
Yeah, there's no need for that.
Yeah, so. Well, we've been going on for well over an hour now, so.
Dude, our episodes keep getting longer and longer.
But you know what? We have more and more stuff to talk about, and not to mention the alcohol is probably extending what our tangents are going on. Because let's face it, we went on some major tangents this episode. I'm back to your childhood for some of these things.
Yeah, I was just looking at it's like, an hour and 24 minutes. What does that mean? High score. Did I break it?
All right, everybody. Well, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us as you do every single week. Want big thanks for Jess for making the snacks. Not so much of a shout out to the guy who sent us these for the drinks.
I was gonna say the drink was a bit of a bust, so I promise I will do my best to try to find something better next time.
Yes.
Hopefully I can find something that actually tastes good and not like Woo Girl.
Yeah, yeah. But
it tastes like shame and Daddy's credit card. On that note.
Yeah. For Geeks and Drinks, I'm Jason. That's Jordan.
Cheers, Internet.
Cheers.